Welcome to GuruCast, the Game Guru podcast for the community by the community. Hosted by GuruCast, aka DK Productions. We will talk about Game Guru Classic, Game Guru Max, game projects and other topics as well. Think you've heard everything about Game Guru? Then I might have some surprises for you. I hope you enjoy the talk and make sure to participate in our giveaway. More details at the end of the podcast.
Duke 229.
Yes, welcome everyone. GuruCast episode 1. Today we have the 25th of January and I say this because 1 year ago we had our first Game Guru contest. So apparently January is a great month to start new projects. Welcome to this first episode. If you clicked on this video by accident and don't know who I am, my developer name is DK Productions. I'm a part of the Game Guru community for 7 years now. I have released many games made with Game Guru and Easy FPS Editor. I also have 2 commercially distributed games on Steam, so I think I can share a word or two about game development. My guest today is someone who has gained quite some experience as well. He made 1 commercial game and released it on Steam. And there are 2 other projects in development right now. Based in Canada, thank you for joining me on this premiere episode. His name is C4ever08, also known as Ghost. Welcome, how are you?
Not bad. How are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm pretty decent, thanks. Okay. So, was I right about the 2 other projects, Daitara and Ark, I believe, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Dude.
Okay. And Ark has been like an alpha version, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, and Daitara hasn't seen a release yet.
No, not at all.
So you wanna so you wanna do this one on Game Guru Max, I think, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's talk about your main game, Anthropocene Epoch. I hope I spelled this one right.
Anthropocene Epoch.
Anthropocene, yeah, okay. So you are releasing quite a big update.
Yep.
It's called the Origin update, right?
Yes, it is.
What can you tell me about your update you're working on?
For starters, I figured since the new year came around, like you said, January seems to be one of those months to create stuff. So
Yeah.
I decided I'd update my game again this year. Last year I did a bunch of updates to it that were pretty successful. So this year I decided I'd add on to my game. So I'm gonna do a bigger update with 3 more new levels for the end. As this game kind of is a prologue to another game later on. So I kind of want to have it, play out on the Mantis planet, fighting aliens and stuff like that for the end of the game. As well as Prebin's optimizer. I've already put that in already for faster loading times. An amazing app, actually. I'm pretty impressed with it so far.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of more or less I'm going to do is, try to keep up with the bug fixing and stuff like that for this year for this game. I'm not too sure about any more bigger updates other than putting it to 64-bit, I'm hoping, in the next few months or so.
Okay. So you sent me some screenshots of your update. I mean, it was only 1 screenshot, right? So
Yeah.
but this one looked pretty amazing already. So this was like on the Mantis planet.
Yep.
Yeah, I can say that I'm really looking forward to your update. And yeah, I've been updating Dark Skies a lot also last year, including the 64-bit stuff. And we had many improvements on Game Guru last year, which we will talk about this one later also. And yeah, on your Steam page on Anthropocene Epoch, it says it's a dark, atmospheric sci-fi first-person shooter.
Yep.
Encounter characters including Jade, which I helped a bit in the audio stuff there.
Yep.
An AI implanted in your head.
Yep.
Do missions to help others and get you off Earth before the Mantis destroy it. But
Yep.
I'm the kind of player that basically ignores most of the story, and I just like to explore environments. And I gotta admit, and I know that Wolf has played your game also, and he really liked it also. That the environment is one of the best aspects in your game.
Oh, thanks. Honestly, the inspiration came from devs like you and Wolf. When I first started Game Guru, I wanted to make something that was, amazing in Game Guru, and as you guys were, progressing, I was kind of watching in the background, seeing how you guys were doing. You've come out with a few commercial games, and for me, I think that was my biggest thing is I wanted to make a game I could sell. But it's not really for me about money, but it was more or less for the product itself, how it was made, how good something, how I can make it better than, you see a lot of the other games that were made with GG years ago that probably weren't so good. But, for me, I want to be a part of that, top tier of people that were in Game Guru at the time that could make an awesome game. And yeah, and hopefully other people would enjoy it.
Awesome, yeah, that's the spirit. Because I feel like people arrive in the community and they are, it's always great to when you join somewhere or you are new around somewhere, take a look at your surroundings, check out what other people do, just get to know people and don't be like, this is my project. It looks like shit, and you can't. I feel like some people are completely unable to accept criticism.
Yeah, that's actually I can't really. When I brought Ditero, I was kind of in that same boat. I was always afraid to put my work out because I never really thought, how are these guys going to like this game, or there's always these thoughts going through your head. So when Ditera kind of failed in that sense, I thought to myself, I got to do something here that these guys are going to be like, wow, who is this dude and why is he making this game? So, for me, it was kind of one of those things, an idea. That kind of just jumped into my head, and I thought, well, it'd be cool to do something like sci-fi with a little bit of aliens. There's a lot of zombie shooting games in Game Guru, which a lot of them probably aren't even worth my time. And I think the biggest, thing I looked at too is, what kind of a crowd I would pick up, which I didn't think anything of it when I first made this game. I didn't think, a lot of people would even enjoy Anthropocene Epoch. But after letting you play it and a few others, I got that confidence to say, wow, this game actually isn't that bad. So I'm just glad that everybody liked it and supported it.
Yeah, when we talk about this game, the first thing that comes to my mind is the environment and also the music and stuff, because the game has a really unique feeling. And we are going to dive into the feeling and the audio of the game right now by listening to a little audio clip I recorded from your game.
Years ago, we sent a probe satellite into space to contact alien life. What they didn't expect was an invasion of an alien race called the Mantis. Life on Earth would soon change. Lives would be lost, and the world we call home would be no more. My name is Kaz. I was sentenced to Snow Bunker prison for my crimes. This is my home until the riots broke out. The FTU, Federal Tactical Unit, were called in to absolve the situation, but it only made things worse, and in turn, they abandoned us, closing the remaining inmates inside. I had to figure a way out, and with the help of an AI named Jade who was implanted in my head, she could be the key to getting me off this planet. The only thing is, why pick me? What made me so special? I was a cyber pirate, and I had no family and nothing to look back on. But I had a feeling things for me were about to quickly change. First things first, I have to escape this dreaded bunker and fight my way through what's coming for me when I get out.
So what a way to start the game.
Yep.
So was the intro always like that, or did you change something?
Actually, I don't think I've ever actually really changed that intro. I've had it forever. When I first started it, I think it was when I got Singuru, I decided, hey, I'm gonna make a cool intro, and just kept it after all those years, sort of thing. So I actually was thinking about changing it in the new updates, but I don't know. A lot of people seem to like it, so.
Yeah, it sets the mood right away for the game, which I think is always awesome.
Yeah.
You know, most games just throw you in, and there's no build up whatsoever. And having an intro like that is always a good,
Well, starting point, yeah.
Yeah, good starting point, exactly. And there's one thing I would change though, and that's the filter you made on you added on your voice.
Oh.
For me, as a foreigner, I'm not a native English speaker. It is kind of hard to understand.
Yeah.
I can understand, like 60% of it or 70%. But yeah, that's about it. I redid a lot of audio for Dark Skies as well, where I went completely overboard with the audio filters.
Yeah.
And I had to, adjust it also. And many people were talking to me like, okay, we can't understand what the dude is saying. So even though I was like, okay, I gotta make it like this, and I had to realize that this was the wrong way to go.
That's
the intro is really, really cool, and I love it, and it's a great way to start off the game. But if there's one thing I would change, that maybe remake the audio a bit.
Yeah, you're not the only one that's said this. Wolf said it a few times too. Mm-hmm. Like even like there's a lot of misspelling and stuff in a lot of the PDAs and stuff like that. I think basically a lot of that I rushed when I was trying to get my game out and really didn't read back on it. And that recording was my first recording done, I think, for that game.
Awesome. Cool. So how long have you been working on Anthropocene Epoch?
Actually since 2018. I think it was just the start of 2018.
Mm-hmm. So that's quite some time also, yeah.
Yeah, and well, plus with the updates, I keep going back to it, sort of thing, and keep adding things to it. I think the biggest thing with that too is I like to keep my game up to date. I'm pretty sure you're the same way.
Yeah.
Especially when it's on Steam, you don't want people complaining that your game doesn't work.
Yeah,
stuff like that. So, I always try to tend to keep up with my game so I can make sure it's running good for people in that sense.
Yeah, awesome. That's very good, because there are people, developers on Steam, they just throw the game on Steam and never care about it anymore.
Yeah,
so it's very good for the players, and even for yourself. I think it's a thing of duty and honor a bit to take care of your shit, man. So.
Well, that's the thing. You're gonna put your name on a package. You better be good.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
How I look at it. So.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, nice. Awesome. Is there any question you would like to ask me about your game?
Actually, well, first question is, I know you like playing it, so I really don't have to have an answer for that one.
Yeah.
Because a lot of you guys, like, when you guys played it, that was a scary thing for me, because it was like, oh, I don't know, man. Like, the best guys in Game Guru right now are playing my game. And it always, you get that nervous feeling sort of thing. But after I got to know you, I think that even game development now has gotten a lot easier, especially with those contests you did. It really opened my art style up for that. So I think the biggest question for me for that would be, what aspects did you like the most about my game?
So I'm a big supporter when it comes to atmosphere and environment in games. Stalker is basically, my main inspiration for Dark Skies.
Yep.
And there is not much combat in Dark Skies. And yet still there are people on YouTube that want to complain about the combat in Dark Skies. But it makes 10-20% of the game. Mostly it's, getting dragged into the atmosphere, explore the levels, and just listen to the music I made for the game. So I really loved that you really try to create a great experience with your game, and I love the music and the levels, especially the normal city one. I think it's level 3.
Yep.
That's awesome. Like, every time I play it, I'm like, oh, God, I gotta try this as well. Some abandoned city. And now I finally added a city level to Dark Skies, but it's whole different and not nearly as abandoned as yours, but it has really some spooky feeling when you walk in the city.
Yeah.
So that's a great achievement to, have such an atmosphere in a Game Guru game.
Yeah, I think that was like the biggest thing is each level. I think the city level was that's the biggest level I've done in Game Guru. I was very iffy on it actually working as well as it did. There's a lot of stuff in that level. So,
Yeah.
It took a while to get that one complete, and I'm kind of glad everybody liked that level. It actually was a neat level to do. I think the whole game generally was really fun to make. And I'm hoping to continue the story with this game at some point down the road. So that's why I'm trying to leave it open at the end there. You fight off a mantis horde on their planet, and then you find out where your colony is, and then that's where it kind of starts you off into space sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. So I think you sent me some screenshots of your second game also.
Yeah.
I think it was a desert or something like that.
Oh.
It's definitely a while back, I can say that.
Oh.
Yeah, never mind though.
Oh.
Don't worry. But even though they looked awesome.
Oh yeah.
That's all I can say.
I've done a lot of different levels and stuff. I think you've seen a lot. Like, I almost make them gamey kind of looking.
Mm-hmm.
They're about ready to be shipped out.
Mm.
I don't know. I like to present my stuff with a little bit of pizzazz, I guess, in that sense.
Mm-hmm.
So, you'll see a lot of weird games, like the contest games. I probably have 4 or 5 of those in a folder that I've done. So, it's kind of neat seeing all these games add up in that sense.
Yeah, it's always a great practice and experience to even work on small games and actually finish them. Finish the work on it and get people to play it.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is trying to finish them is one
I'm
of the
sure
biggest
there will
tasks.
be some listeners, and I'm not looking at you, T-Bone. He's so talented and he does such amazing things, but you gotta push out at least one game, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I always find that out with newcomers that come to Game Guru. There's a lot of people that come out there and they make a game, but they don't realize so many things that they've done is unbelievably not what anybody else would have done in that sense, that's experienced. For me, that was the same when I was first started Game Guru. I can remember when I first actually started Game Guru, and I was almost like, wow, what am I doing? So, later on, now that I've actually used Game Guru a lot and I know everything about it, it's just, it's a time taking to, look at what you're building and if it can even be done in Game Guru, try it out, but there's a lot of aspects about Game Guru that a lot of people don't see, like the tab menus. Like there's so many things you could set to make your game even better.
Yeah, to make it look great, yeah.
Yeah, and then now that, 64 bits came out, you got so many more options to make your game look more impressive, So I just think for a lot of newcomers, you really got to look at other people's games, see how their style is. I think I kind of basically did that with you and Wolf. I looked at both of your games and kind of went, okay, can I do that? Or, can I actually make a game that looks just as decent? So, I got to look at these things when you're doing game development, and, and a really good story to go with your game goes a long way with it too.
Mm. Yeah, at least some story that makes remotely sense. So, yeah.
I think mine was a little jumbled at first, but I kind of went with it, sort of thing.
I think it's great, and I don't think there will be much people that play the game for the story. But I'm just that kind of player. I want to, wander around in amazing environments and, get dragged in by atmosphere. And if a game can have an amazing story, but if it's not delivering on the atmosphere side, I'm out right away. Yeah,
I guess I could say I'm the same way in that sense, But when you make your own game, it's a little different. Like, 'cause you've already made the game, and you're kind of like, oh man, I've already played this level 20 times testing it, But that's the thing though, is you're gonna make something this odd. Like, I could probably play your game, Dark Skies, anytime, and I still get that feeling of, oh, this is awesome. Like, or what's he done now? Like, what guns he added to this game that I can find, because there's so many guns in that game. But that's the best part. You're not just looking for a health or ammo. There's always like an extra piece of equipment, weapon to find. And that's always been that was a big intriguing part to me about your game, which was really neat. And the aspect of it being a stalker-like game, it really, man, it is one of the best I've seen.
Thanks very much. One thing I want to add about the guns is that I have now about 70 plus guns in Dark Skies.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, that's an interesting fact also. You just mentioned the 64-bit upgrade.
Yep.
So let's review the last year a bit in terms of improvements that have been made for Game Guru Classic. So to sum it up, I will rehearse a bit what we had last year. So we had, first of all, the 64-bit upgrade by Lee Bamber from TGC. Then we have the HBAO, which is a new ambient occlusion shader. Then we got the standalone optimizer by Preben. We have LUTs, which means basically color grading, settings. We got parallax occlusion mapping. And we got the dynamic simulated sky. And also a bunch of other fixes, like the issue I posted like years ago where the vegetation shadows were just looking wrong.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so
I remember that.
A lot of stuff has been fixed and added over the last year. So that's a big achievement by mostly Cybernescence, because he's been so amazing to the community last year. So we gotta, we gotta appreciate this. Everyone in the community owes him big time, I think.
Yeah, that's the biggest part about GG is the community. Like, I don't think if I was even on Discord and met any of you guys, I might have, got up there a little bit, but it probably would have took me a longer time, because with you guys being around, there's always a question I have to ask, and you guys always seem to answer it at some point. So it made my development in gaming a lot faster in that aspect. So yeah,
totally agree. When I joined the community in 2016, I remember I was posting daily on the forum, like asking how do you make a flashlight make a sound, or how do you make like notes you can pick up and read. I was basically asking like how can I make the game Hunted one step too far without knowing anything.
Yeah.
And I was able to.
Well, even Hunted, man. That game is, I'm gonna say, pretty scary. For Game Guru, like I've played a few scary games over my lifetime. I'm not really a fan of them because I just don't like jumping out of my skin.
Yeah, totally agree. Yeah,
but Hunted was one of those games where there was things in it that I didn't understand, like the statues, when they followed you. I'm like, how did this guy even do this? So that was when I first started even getting into Game Guru. So when I played Hunted, I was just like, wow, this is pretty neat. And I think a lot of my influence for the mansion game for the contest was because of Hunted, with the ghost and him following you around and everything. So it's been used a fair bit, but for me, it was something new that I really didn't see in Game Guru much. So it was pretty impressive, man. And the whole atmosphere, the darkness. I'm pretty sure you're doing an update on it. I'm not sure if you're still doing it, but the update you did for Hunted was even better. Like with the stuff that now and putting it back into that game, it's really awesome.
Yeah, it's very cool that you mentioned this because this is the one I was gonna talk about next. So it now Hunted One Step Too Far now has a new name. It's Hunted Reborn. So it's a complete remake of Hunted One Step Too Far. It's currently a work in progress, so I'm working on it besides Dark Skies and Taipei Contract also. And I have not worked on it for like half a year now. But as you said, I've learned so many things in the last years, especially with the development of Dark Skies. I had the feeling that I need to take care of my first game also. So, it's a lot of work, and I hired a voice actor for the game. It has way better graphics, much more custom models than it had previously, a new and improved sound design, and we will take this moment and listen to the intro I made for Hunted Reborn.
Nice.
Geocaching is my way to escape the boring daily life. I've been doing it for 4 years now. Last month I discovered a new place on the internet that offers a slightly different approach to the traditional geocaching. The site offers trips to abandoned or even condemned buildings, which is quite the adrenaline rush. One could now argue if this is legal or not. I say it's only illegal if you get caught. Anyway, tonight is the perfect night to go on a small adventure. I should look out for notes that lead me to the next hint. It's time to start.
And if this doesn't make you ready for, exploring dark woods, then nothing will.
Listening to that, I felt like I was actually in a horror movie, just when you first watch the first part of it. Like, I love that, man. I like how your intros are awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, so I gotta give credit to the voice actor too. He's from Fiverr, and he's a great guy, and he has a really cool voice, and he's the perfect choice for this project, I think. Yeah, I really should, getting back to work on it.
Yeah.
And to everyone listening right now, you can, play this new version of Hunted right now on Steam. If you own the game on Steam, this update is completely free. You just need to download the normal standalone, and then you will have the chance to get your hands on Hunted Reborn.
Really good game, guys.
Thank you very much. So let's talk about TGC for a moment.
Yep.
in the past years, I think it's been a huge issue where TGC wasn't communicating with the community much. And I think it's gotten better since the live streams are back.
Yeah.
So what's your opinion on how TGC has interacted with the community, and is there room for improvement, or do you think they are doing enough?
My thoughts on the communication from from the days Game Guru started to now. Yes, you're right. They have improved a little bit more than they have in the past. I think for me, when Game Guru came out, there's a lot of people wanting different features that never got added from FPS days. I think, when you're going to bring a product out and you say you're going to do some of this stuff and then you don't do it later on and it gets kind of put in a closet, a lot of people are, get iffy on that sort of thing. Not to say that, when Game Guru came out, they did do a good job of, trying to keep up with Game Guru, with bugs fixes and stuff like that. But, the miscommunication on a lot of the, stuff that was going on in the background never really got put out. And I think now that Max has came out, there's a lot of things that are getting kind of sideswiped in that sense. And I've kind of lost interest in that side of it. So I just stick to the classic side.
Yeah.
But, I think Lee's doing a good job at, trying to keep up with the times. Game Guru should have been, vamped up. It should have had features a long time ago. But, it is what it is. So I think the most part is, for now, hopefully that everything that's going on now with Game Guru actually gets added and things get fixed up. And hopefully, we can see a better future for the engine.
You talked about Game Guru Max. Did you try it for, quite some time, or just a quick look?
I think I've had 73 hours in it.
73?
73 hours.
Holy
yes.
shit, that's like 10 times the hours that I have.
I almost made a full map of Dyterra, man. I had almost a half of a whole, I'm pretty sure the whole map. It was like, there's like one section of it, like an island I did for my Dyterra game. But the thing was is that the updates that are coming out with Max, it always seemed to put my maps in another folder somewhere else. And I just, it was getting to the point where I, trying to put it back into the game, it just got a little like a nuisance in that sense. So I just, said, what, I'm going to wait about another 2 years or so to see how Max does in that sense. Because right now there's just too many updates going on with it. There's a lot of things for me that are red flags. The UI is a big one I don't really like.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, agree. Yeah.
Yeah. So my use of it was all right, but it's just, there's a lot of things they could work on way better, before pushing out this product, I guess.
Yeah. So I think there are a lot of people in the same case where they just will wait for, until GG Max is ready.
Yeah. And like a lot of us are old schools. We like Game Guru Classic, so, when you have to have a big change like this come in, it's not, that's another thing about the communication is that they said that Max is going to be an easy game maker, just like Game Guru. But honestly, that's not even the case at this point in time for me. It's just, there's so many things that are different with Max than Classic. It's just, I'd rather just stay with Classic at this point.
Yeah. So, I totally agree on this one also. I think as a diehard GG Classic user, which is what I am, it's like learning a new engine with GG Max.
Yeah.
So the controls, they are a little strange because they make you feel like you are using Game Guru, but in reality you aren't.
Yeah.
Even simple stuff like rotating stuff with R, I think is not even a thing.
No, that's what I mean. They've changed a lot of different aspects that we were used to at that time. And like even the painting of stuff, you have to go into a whole separate thing. And then you come out of that, go into an entity tab. These are cool things, but it just gets a little bit more confusing as you're going through and you're trying to find things. So for Game Guru Classic, it's just easy for me to go into my folders and I can find everything I need and change everything from there.
Yeah. I think
So-
it's more intuitive right from the bat.
Yeah.
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 So, you know our dear friend Lafette?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he had basically the same opinion about game GG Max.
Well, yeah.
It's just not comfortable to use, I think.
And that's basically, yeah, I've seen a lot of conversation about it, and I think that's the thing, is a lot of people just don't like the feel of it at this point. And plus, they're using Wicked Engine, a lot of their parts in this, which is going to totally change how that engine comes out later on. Like, sure, it might be nice graphically and everything. There is some things that probably do need changed in that aspect too, but for me, it's not always about graphics. It's, you know, it's about how the engine runs and can it actually complete a game. In that sense, you know, where Max right now, you can't, there's no way you're going to get a standalone out at all without having so many issues.
Yeah. But we will, you know, it's still early access, so Lee has
Yeah.
plenty of time to improve on these aspects.
Yep.
You mentioned the graphics of GG Max. I think they look horrible.
Well,
I have yet to see a GG Max project that doesn't look, you know, stale or something. I can't put my finger on it. I think it looks horrible, and I'm not alone with this opinion. I was talking to Avenging Eagle a few days ago, and
Yeah.
he also was like, he can't put his finger on what it is, but there's something off with the lighting, or, you know, the image is grainy, or
that's, yeah, my thing is that right there, the graininess is an off for me. I've noticed that too when playing around with Game Guru Max. I never really did like that, and it was always hard to, you know, try to get the best setting, you know, when you play with all the the sliders and everything, to try to get that nice sunset, or, you know, trying to get your sky to look perfect.
Yeah.
You never really could in Max, actually, honestly. Like, even with Dyterra, I like to use my sunsets in that game because it just looks beautiful. But, you know, even with my screenshots, you could always see that grainy look to it. You couldn't really get a nice sharp look with that engine at all, really. Where Game Guru Classic, I can actually get that if I actually try.
yeah, totally agree on that one also, yeah. That's my issue as well. I keep, you know, changing the settings, and it just never looks good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you were saying something about porting Dark Skies to Game Guru Max at some point.
Yeah.
I don't know if, yeah.
You can throw that right out of the window again, because I was talking to Lee personally on Skype like almost a year ago in April last year,
Yeah.
and I told him that I can't port Dark Skies over to GG Max because the importing function doesn't work.
Yeah.
There are assets missing. It's crashing all the time. It freezes. The terrain doesn't apply at all because, you know, it's a completely different terrain system now.
Yes.
Which, you know, it was a promised feature from the start, and it still doesn't work. And you know, it's not related to the topic, but I want multiplayer for Game Guru Classic.
Yeah. I know exactly how you feel for that. I'm the same boat. I think I've made so many multiplayer maps I can't even use at this point in time.
Yeah, it's a real shame, yeah. But I hope. By the way, this was said by Lee also in our call, that multiplayer will be fixed in 2022, which wasn't the case.
See? The miscommunication.
Yes, again, we are back at it.
Yeah, like, I guess, you know, they you know, honestly, I don't know if I could even run a whole PDC company or my own in that sense. Like, there's so much demand from, you know, people using the engine, and plus themselves having to get the work done to get these things out.
Yeah.
And when you promise things and you first start things like this, you know, you should, I think a lot of the times, you'll promise something, but then like down the road, they're like, oh, we can't even do that, you know? So like, how are they supposed to tell their customer base, like, oh, we just messed up and we're not going to be giving you importing now. So we're just going to give you some awesome graphics.
Yeah.
but yeah, I think the biggest thing is like, if you're going to say something or do something in that sense, at least try to get it in there. So, you know, you're not making other people disgruntled. Because if that was a promise, like even Game Guru Classic, I think there was promises made too when the start of Game Guru came out. And a lot of people got choked up because they weren't added in, sort of thing.
Yeah, like attaching a camera to a rocket.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah,
is something I would
exactly.
love to see in Dark Skies. No, of course I wouldn't, but it's you know, it's always this rocket thing that comes up.
Yeah.
It's just it's funny at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's not forget that TGC is a really, really small company and they are doing other stuff as well. So it's only Lee actually working on the Game Guru stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the big thing there is you got him doing a lot of the background legwork. You know, there's a few other team members I've noticed on Discord. Yeah, so I'm going to give kudos to him because obviously, you know, he knows how to make an engine where I have no clue.
Yeah.
But like, you know, I'm going to give it time, obviously. Let's see how Max does in the future. Same with Gamer Classic. I feel like this year is going to be a booming year for Classic, you know, because there's a lot of things that now are being put in by CyberScene or CyberEssence.
CyberEssence, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So like him taking the time to do all of this, you know, is really important to us in a sense too, because we just want to make our games awesome. We just want to make cool ass games that we can look at to, you know, show other people off and, you know, be happy, you know, excited that we made a product this awesome from an engine that could have even used these features many years ago.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So let's change the subject again. One thing that came up when I was thinking about questions is you have a game on Steam, and what was it like for you to upload a game on Steam? You know, I know that there is a lot of stuff you need to fill out, and you know, applying tax stuff and all this stuff, and I think it's a total clusterfuck.
Oh, you're telling me. Yeah, like I think I think I actually messaged you a few times saying, "Hey man, how do I put this game up?" Sort of thing. Or why isn't this thing going? But then you showed me the easier way to do it. I just can't remember what that folder was, but I use that way all the time now.
Yeah,
like
you mean the upload function for standalones, right?
Yes, yeah. That tool is it's so much easier to get your game on Steam than going through all the crap that's on Steam.
Yeah.
That was impossible, man. I was losing my mind trying to get that to work. So
yeah, you gotta be a rocket scientist for this one to figure out.
Yeah, so when you showed me that tool, oh man, I'm just like, wow, that was so much faster. Why didn't I have this thing like, you know, days ago?
Yeah.
So since I've had that tool, yeah, it's been pretty easy to get my stuff up on there now. But yeah, like you said, it was atrocious trying to do it the other way. I'll never do that again.
Yeah. And it took me a while to figure out that there is a tool even. I was back then when I uploaded Hunted. I think there wasn't this tool in my SDK folder. So I had to go through all these tutorials and there was stuff missing and I was so frustrated. But I can't believe that I was able to, you know, even upload my game back then.
Yeah, that would have been... No, I probably wouldn't even be able to. I would have just said, no, I'm done with that. I'll just wait until they do something better to get me.
Or upload on another platform, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, and that, for me, too, doing Anthropocene Epoch, I actually wasn't going to put it on Steam at first, but...
Yeah, I talked you into it, right?
Yeah, so when I got it actually on there, I was just more amazed that that actually got on without any trouble, honestly, because like you're always scared when you first release your game and you got that date set, and all of a sudden, oh, your game doesn't work, or the folder's not even there. What the hell's wrong with this game? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I didn't want all that backlash, so it was really scary trying to get that, first part of it on there. I think I'm actually pretty sure you're like the first one that bought my game on Steam. I think.
Yeah, that may be true. Yeah, I
I
always said that I will buy it on day one because there needs to be more games, more good Game Guru games on Steam. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's for me it was like, oh wow, like I was actually that was the biggest thing I've wanted to do was get a game on Steam. I think it was like an aspiration for me in that sense, because like not just because you had your games on there, but there's a lot of games that are on Steam that were just not that great at all, And when I saw Dark Skies, I thought, man, oh man, I gotta get a game up.
Nice.
So I think, and a lot of people will disagree too. A lot of people will be like, oh, don't put your game on Steam. You're going to go through all this headache and everything. You'll never make money. For me, it's not really about the money at all. Yeah. I don't really have any qualms on that. I make money working a normal job. Yeah. So I think it was just more of this, I wanted to see what people thought of the game. And sure, I don't really have many reviews on that game. There's 3 good, 3 bad sort of thing. Mm. I wasn't really even looking at that. When I look at my game, I just think, I'm glad that I did do this, because now a lot of people can see what I've done, and hopefully they get inspired by both our games, in that sense, by being on Steam and seeing that some games in Game Guru are worth the time,
Absolutely, yeah. And if you don't try it, you will never know.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the biggest thing for me is I tried, and here I am today.
Nice. Awesome, yeah. So in 2022 we hosted 5 Game Guru contests.
Yep.
A big thanks goes out to Mipasto. He did an amazing job hosting these contests, and it was a total blast. How did you like the contests, and what was your favorite game?
Well, since I won a lot of those contests.
Awesome, yeah. Basically, we both ruled the entire competition.
Yeah. My part being in the contest, I wasn't really to win. I just wanted to show others, you could do really cool things with the games. They could be looking really good, but have some really stupid parts to it.
Yeah.
Me, I honestly am not, too much of a... I don't like to make games where they don't make sense and stuff. I don't know why it is like that with me. Like, I always have to have some sort of story to tell or something that, goes along that line, where you and a few other guys that are in the contest can make unbelievably funny-ass games and, make the contest even more better because of the funniness to it. Like your Schweinman and
I love how you pronounce that. Awesome. You like the first one that pronounces it remotely right, so it's actually Schweinemann.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
I think that's a bit of the German in me. Kind of see those words and I kind of go, oh, I think I know what that says.
Yeah, awesome.
So the biggest thing for me for these contests was the fun of it. Like multiplayer was fun too, but when you started, with the contest after the fact, that still gave us, that excitement. We have to get this game done. We're gonna put it on this stream. Mapatsu's gonna make it awesome, and it turned out really well. And I think my favorite game, I'd have to say out of them all, Gear Schweinman was probably top for me. The other game was Embe, I think his name was.
Yeah.
Made.
So he made
is it Griffinstadt?
Castle Griffinstadt, yeah.
That's it. Yeah. That game was neat for me just because of all the stuff that he put into that game. Like but it kind of reminded me of like the old 90s games or like Doom sort of thing where there's a lot of things going on. Like there's so many games that I could say were pretty good actually in a lot of these contests.
And really stupid ones too, like the first Gringo Town.
Yeah, Gringo Town. There's another one, right? Yeah, like wow, like
And let's not forget about Avenging Eagle's zombie game. I can't recall the name right now, but
oh, I know
that's
what you're
been
talking
he
about.
actually won the contest with this one, the
Yes,
second one.
yeah. Which, yeah, like even then was like it was a short little game, but it was like it was just the way that he put it together really actually
Yeah,
did it justice in that sense.
yeah,
And like that's what I like about the contest is like anybody that has an idea, it could be the dumbest idea, but hey, it makes a good game.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. It makes
so
for a great stream.
yeah, exactly. So, I think the top of mine would be Schweiman and Griffithstack game.
Yeah,
For me, generally, I just did the contest just for the fun of it. Like, even though I won a few times, it's just the basis of like doing it and going, okay, cool. This is gonna turn out even better the next contest, or it's gonna keep getting better. And that's how I felt every contest you did, man. It did get better and funnier in that sense too.
I think the first one is the most legendary because it was the first one, and the games were totally crazy. Like we had this one from Ghost, where my pastor had like 10 FPS or even less.
Oh,
And
yes.
of course, the first Gringertown game, the first Castle Griffinstead game, which was
Yeah.
one of my favorites also, and Slauren's shit game, where you literally play in a lower part of a human being.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so it started out as a shit game contest, but we went on calling it a normal, Game Guru, Game Jam or contest. And,
Yeah.
the shitty aspect always remained.
There at some point.
Yeah, it's been awesome fun, yeah.
Yeah, like I think that's another thing that I always notice with you. You're always seeming to bring people together, in the community to do something relating to Game Guru, but it always makes more fun doing it. I think for the last year I've had more fun with Game Guru than I have in the last like 5 or 6 years that I've even used it. Just because there's all the stuff you can do with you guys, and making your own projects, but it just gives you a little bit more freedom of building stuff too. When you have a contest come out and you're like, oh, I got like a month left to do this. What am I gonna do? And you got to think on your toes, sort of thing, to come out with something funny or whatever to put into the contest.
Yeah, and I'm also like, I can't do, repeatedly the same game. So I made
Yeah.
the Schweinemann games even. They are so different from each other. I make like 4 Schweinemann games.
Yeah.
And like the last one, the fourth one, was a Hitman ripoff.
Yeah. Yeah, which actually turned out pretty cool. I actually like that. It's pretty neat. A lot of us would just, be like, it's kind of one of those things where you're like, you just put this together like that.
Yeah.
Where you look at games you've seriously done commercially and you're like, wow, what a setup, like what a whole change from the contest to seeing your professional games.
Yeah.
And like that's the same for me too. It's like whenever I make games, I always look back on the ones that I did for the contest and kind of go, wow. That's kind of neat. What was I thinking when I did that? But honestly, I think a few of those games like Ark I did for the contest actually turned into a demo later on. So, some games do come out for these contests, and actually I've kept now because I might work on them later on, make them into actual games.
Yeah, Ark is pretty cool also. Like it's heavily inspired by SCP, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I like
that was your fault.
Yeah, no. Yeah. I think it came after the Schweinemann Spaceman Labs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think you did that, and then I thought, well, I want to make a bunch of models for this other game, and actually, the models were just supposed to be for the store, but then I thought, well, I can make a game with all these, and Ark kind of came out. I think the biggest thing was I never saw a robot game ever made in Game Guru with the footstep sounds and all that, and, the wobble.
Yeah.
Kind of wanted to give it that robotic feel you know, that I haven't really seen much of in Game Guru. So that was kind of a neat idea. And I've actually used most of the art direction and everything from that game and now putting them into other games that I'm making now.
Yeah. So is Arc currently available for download?
Yes. I'm gonna have to put a link up eventually for that. I haven't. It's on Mediafire. It's been there for quite a while, actually. A lot of my contest games are there too.
Yeah, mine also. Yeah. So make sure, guys, to check out Arc. It's a really cool game and some never before seen stuff in Gamergo, like the room where the robots get processed or something.
Oh yeah,
That
yeah,
was really impressive. That I gotta admit, that was really cool.
Yeah, I like to do a lot of animated stuff. I think, you know, I think when you're going into a level or something like that, I always like to see parts moving or stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, it just gives you more of a atmospheric feel when you're walking through rooms.
Yeah,
That was kind of the idea for that game anyway.
you know, moving parts and that stuff really adds life to a level.
Yeah.
Like Taipei Contract is the perfect example of, you know, using a small space but making it as living and breathing as a game group game basically can be.
Yeah, and that's another thing too, is like I think the game you're talking about, the desert one, was Dist. It was like kind of like a futuristic desert game I was doing there back in the wild. But that's kind of where your ideas and mine kind of connected. Was especially with flying cars or flying ships and stuff like that. So when you got those scripts done for that was a game changer, I think, in that aspect. Because now even with Anthropocene Epoch, I'm starting to put in flying ships on the planet that I'm making now. So it just looks like there's actual stuff going on above you, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So
huge thanks to Small G on this point, because he really helped me a lot with the scripting. Basically,
Yes.
he didn't only help me; he wrote them, and you know, he gave the scripts to me, and I was so happy when I saw the cars finally moving. That was awesome.
Yeah, that is awesome. Yeah, and I gotta say the same. If it wasn't for Small G, I don't think my game would be where it is right now. I had a lot of issues where, you know, when you put your start marker down and it's set that certain way, so when you go and use a radar or a map, it opposites everything if you don't have that set up right.
Oh my.
So I had to get Small G to rewrite some of his map scripts so it would fit with my game. I didn't want to have to go and rebuild everything I did, right? So I said to Small G, is there not a way that you can make this so it's sitting straight? So my map is actually opposite actually than it's supposed to be because of the levels where I messed that up. But it worked out in the end. The maps all seemed to work out good, and objectives. So, but I gotta thank him for that. Another one's T-Bone for the shield. He did that script. I think it was on the store, but he gave me that script too because I was bugging him about getting a shield put into this game. You know, because I thought it would be cool, and plus it would help with your health, so you weren't getting blasted so badly. In that sense. So yeah, those two guys helped me a lot in my game.
Yeah. You know, this goes to show that Game Guru games basically always are a community effort.
Yes, you know, it's like having your own studio, but you don't have to pay for everybody to do your
because
Just
everyone
kidding.
is so nice. Yeah,
exactly. You know, that's the best part. In all seriousness, is that, you know, I've never met so many cool people in one Discord.
Yeah, that's totally true. Yeah.
I've played online games. I've left Discords, you know, because there's always one rotten apple somewhere along the lines. Me, I'm not very much of a talker on Discord.
Yeah.
I'll message you or whatever in that sense. But you know, for me, even to talk to people that are from GG, it's just a whole different atmosphere. People are so nice. You ask questions, maybe you won't get the answers right then and there, but there's always an answer that comes up later on. Somebody's answering you. And that's the best part of it, you know. And a lot of us are just level designers or artists. So when we need help with scripts, it's just nice to see that Amen or Small G or any of these guys that are there are willing just to, hey, I can help you do this, and these guys don't even get paid for most of their work. So it's just, I'm grateful that these guys are even here.
Yeah.
And like I said, my game wouldn't even be where it is today if it wasn't for those guys.
That goes also for any of my projects. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I got one last question for you. It's been an amazing session, I think, and thank you so much for being a part of it.
Oh, no problem, man.
I have, thanks to Sloren, or Sloren, don't know how it's pronounced.
Lauren.
Correct. Yeah. He introduced me to Easy FPS Editor.
Yep.
And that's basically a 2D game maker where you can make your own Doom style, 1993 style game.
Yeah.
And it's awesome fun, really. It's so cool. And thanks to Sloren for introducing me to Easy FPS Editor. And my final question for this first episode: when will you make a game with Easy FPS Editor?
Actually, that's funny you mentioned that, because I think I don't know how long Patsu's gone for, but I think you said something about after March or something. So I'm hoping we can get a contest in at some point, because I was thinking of making my new game for the contest or whatever with Easy. I actually have it in my downloads. I just haven't installed it yet. Mm-hmm. So I am gonna eventually get into this and see if I can make a cool like douche and kook game that I've seen. So that's been one of the things I wanted to do for about a month now. So I'm hopefully gonna do that soon.
Yeah, awesome. So I think Mipasto will be back in after April, he said.
Yeah.
So we still have to be patient a bit. And Mipasto, if you are hearing this podcast, thanks so much for your streams. You've been an amazing part of our community, and thanks to everyone listening. We are the community, and we are making Game Guru great. And thanks also to Lee and Dash, Deborah Escott Jones from TGC for communicating with me also. It's been an amazing year last year. And thanks to you, Riley, for this amazing talk.
Yeah, no problem.
It's been a blast, and I'm looking forward to the next episode. I don't know which guest I will have.
Yep.
And yeah, let's see where this goes.
Nice.
Is there something you want to add to this one?
Well, not so much. Just I hope you guys enjoyed the podcast, and I hope this goes well. I think a lot of people will listen and hopefully tune in to your episodes.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it for me.
Yeah. Awesome. Then thanks so much, and continue to be a part of this amazing community. Thanks for being a good friend to me also. We chatted, countless hours.
Yep.
And see you guys next time. Bye-bye. This was episode 1 of GuruCast, the Game Guru podcast for the community by the community. Now you have a chance to win an item of your choosing from my TGC store catalog. Simply write a comment that contains the name of this podcast, and after 1 week I will have one comment randomly selected. I will notify the winner personally in the comment section. And now, take care everyone, and see you next time.